Well, my friends, I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news, we'll start there. Man, I had some insomnia. I couldn't sleep. Really sucks. It's like 4 a.m. my time when I woke up. But good news is I saw there were commanders revealed. So here we are. Let's review their kits. Let's talk about what they do. I'll give you my first impressions, recommendations for pairings, and some of those might really surprise you given my recent content. So big thank you before we begin to the makers of Rise of Kingdoms for sponsoring today's video. Let's start with GG. I'm going to call him GG because anytime I mess up a commander's pronunciation, I get made fun of as standard content creator stuff. We just go with GG. There we go. Love it. Single target damage. Open fielder. Single target damage. Single target damage open fielder. So there's got to be a trick to this pony. Pun intended with the horses. There has to be a trick to this pony. Otherwise, single target damage, you heard me say recently in stream and in my content, is kind of dead on arrival. And this is 2025 going on 2026. You know, this is not the 2020 days when you could have a single target damage commander that releases and I think be very performant. Like, they're going to need to do a lot, like a lot to offset not having AoE damage. The existence and continued use of William is like a pretty good example of how AoE damage is like just that good. So let's talk about this. 1000 rage requirement, 2 combo attacks, 1400 damage factor. Hey, a grand total of 2800 damage factor is pretty legit. For the next 5 seconds, 5 health, 5 defense, and increase the healing from the Starlight skill by 100%. Whatever this Starlight skill is, had better be good. This is why we're single target damage, okay? And instead of AoE, we're buffing ourselves a tiny amount of health and defense. That's not good enough. But this Starlight skill has to be the moneymaker. It has to be. Combo attack damage is affected by bonuses to normal damage. We knew that. Combo attacks can trigger any effect triggered by launching a basic. They do not trigger counters. Great. Okay, we knew all that. Second skill, 10% less damage while on the map. He's got to be in the open field, so he's an open fielder here. Cavalry units in their troop get 20% march speed. Good. And they get 30% defense. Okay. You know this because you're a longtime subscriber to my channel. Long time ago, I proved that there's sort of diminishing returns to stats, and also it's very commonly understood that you want your defense and your health to be about even in terms of buffs. So cavalry have so much health from equipment that defense on stats is actually generally very good, and they tend to be very close to each other in value. Starlight. If this commander is in a field troop, so we're really hammering, you have to be on the map. You have to be in a field troop. Like, this guy's not going to work in a rally garrison, probably. Field troop is not a rally. So this is interesting. They differentiate while on the map, which a rally qualifies as, and field troop, a non-rallied, non-garrison troop, also on the map, excluding resource points. If this commander's in a field troop, their troop deals 15% more normal damage. I like that. Obviously enhances your combo damage too, and makes you a little more prickly. Whenever their troop deals combo attack damage, it recovers a large portion of slightly wounded units. 10% of the combo attack damage dealt. So whenever their troop deals combo attack damage, so does that mean if Achilles does AoE damage, for example, we get 10% of that back as well? Units healed by this skill cannot be healed by it again, and cannot be sev wounded, but can be slightly wounded until they return to your city. Whoa. So this is the skill that gets 100% better when your active skill is running. This plus the little health and defense buff are the reason the active skill is not AoE and can't do more for us. I mean, that's the way I think about it in my head. It's like, if they're allocating so many points of goodness to a commander, they got to make that single target stuff really good. Well, 2800's okay. I mean, it's okay. Huo, doesn't Huo do something like that from back in the day? It's okay. You got to have more to it, and the more to it is 100% enhancement of this. Recover a large portion of slightly wounded units. Units healed by this skill cannot be healed by it again, but can be sev wounded. Oh, and cannot be Sev wounded, but can be slightly wounded. So this is interesting. I have often been critical of healing as a mechanic in this game for open field because you just like, as your army gets lower, you're bringing back troops that will then trade super, super, super negatively and you get cooked. This is a part of the reason why I feel like the whole archer healing open field thing never really worked out. This is probably a couple reasons why that might be the case, but this is interesting because they cannot be Sev wounded. So you're bringing troops back that can't just get destroyed in trade quality, which I think is very interesting. I can see how this army, or this commander in particular, would be designed to give a huge amount of staying power. I mean, obviously we know who needs this. Like, Achilles needs this. This is what Achilles really needs. I mean, two directions with Achilles. Enhance his damage, or make him live longer, because he's going to do a lot of damage if he can stick around. In fact, I literally said in my Achilles video, if only we had a way to heal and stick around. If he could heal a lot, he's going to get lots of AoE triggers and you're going to get lots of damage stacking. Here it is. This actually makes so much sense. So much sense. He is so clearly designed to be paired with Achilles. This is so clearly what he's meant to do. Yeah, I mean, I know exactly how I would pair these commanders. This is like so obvious. 15% more normal damage. I just said Achilles wants a damage boost, right? He wants the E-Song equivalent, and he wants to live. Here it is. This is it. This is it. This is how you pair Achilles. This is so good. I mean, not that Arthur is bad. Maybe it ends up being better in the open field, but I can see how this is a viable way, and then you could put your Arthur somewhere else. Whenever this commander's troop deals combo attack damage to a field troop, it has a 30% chance to reduce the defense by 40% for 5 seconds. Now, this can trigger 3 times in a single second, cooldown of 5 seconds, but it doesn't seem to list stacking. So I would assume this is 3 different troops you're debuffing, because 120% defense reduction on a single troop is disgusting. So that's my take on this one. At 4 to 5 a.m., I guess it's 5 a.m. Chisgule, is that probably you're going to debuff a bunch of different targets, and he does single target damage. So what are we talking about? We're talking about like Achilles, we're talking about an Arthur pairing. That's most likely what we're referring to here. Interesting, but we're not done, because that's just the 4th skill. The expertise. Launches 2 combo attacks. We're enhancing the active skill. We're up to 1500 damage factor, so 3000 in total. We're getting pretty punchy. For the next 5 seconds, 10 health and 10 defense, and increase healing from Starlight by 150%. Holy smokes. I really feel like, given my initial assessment of Achilles, that's like, oh man, his whole kit centered around using this AoE and doing it all over again and stacking a debuff related to it. If only he had a way to live. Here we are. And you're subscribed to my channel. You're an OG. You know that for a long time, I have been on board with a theory that you need a tanky commander and a punchy commander paired together, and that often it seems to be that they are designed that way. We've seen that all throughout the past with commander pairings that tend to work out. A double glass cannon pairing tends to be a little too squishy. Glass cannon means that you can do a lot of damage, but you can't take damage very well. But my read on Achilles is that he was a little bit glass cannon potentially. You pair with someone like this, it could work out. Now, is that still good enough to offset double AoE from Arthur Achilles? I don't know. We'll have to see. But what I would say is, gosh, like if you're making one open field cavalry pair, it might be Arthur Achilles. You could also run this guy plus Achilles, and that could be your one cav pair. I think it's unlikely we're trying to bench Arthur, though. I really do. So I'm inclined to believe that Arthur Achilles might outperform here. Again, a lot is going to depend on how good this Starlight skill ends up being. And it could be really nutty for open field sustain. It really needs to be. For this whole commander, I feel like, hinges on the quality of Starlight, which is a part of the active skill, a part of another skill, and a part of the expertise. Right? Like this healing mechanic has to have a payoff. I think it's probably there. But anytime we get a single target damage commander for open field, I get very anxious. I know we've had good ones in the past. This is not the past. This is now. And now we see that AoE just tends to be one of the most important things. Because obviously the amount of damage you're doing when you're hitting lots of targets is really big. So again, my read on this commander is if he can give Achilles the kind of sustain to make his active just really pop off, and you're like taking lots of damage because taking damage factor is what he needs to happen, and living through it and dishing it out, all right, I could be on board for that. The healing has a cooldown of what? Whenever their troop deals combo damage, Starlight. Whenever their troop deals combo damage, it recovers a large portion of slightly wounded units. There's no cooldown on this. Okay. The Blessed Star effect. Increase the healing from the Starlight skill. Whenever their troop deals combo damage, it recovers a large portion of slightly wounded units, 10% of combo damage. Units healed by this skill cannot be healed by it again, and cannot be sev wounded. Wait. Is he healing all the time with Starlight? Yeah. Okay, wow. There's no cooldown here? Wait. I feel like I must just be sleep deprived and not seeing this. For the next 5 seconds, you gain the Star Blessed effect, but that's not it. Star Blessed enhances Starlight, and Starlight lists no cooldown. Yeah, this is probably going to be pretty good. I mean, and the more combo damage you deal, the better, because you're just going to be healing. Is this all combo damage yields healing now? This is the thing that I might not be understanding this correctly. I'll update the pinned comment. You let me know your thoughts down below. This is the thing that makes this go nuts, right? Like, for sure. Like, constant healing, 10%. Yeah, this is like... I called this as what Achilles needed so clearly. That is crazy. That's actually crazy how well that lines up. If this has no cooldown and you're healing constantly, this is exactly what Achilles needed. Take damage, deal damage. Dang. Wow. I mean, I was talking about it in the context of like, ooh, an artifact with Shajar, maybe you pull it off. Here's the active skill, everybody. Boom. AoE, catapulty thing. Go forward. Go burr. There's probably a name for whatever that kind of weapon is. And I don't know what it is, but let me know in the comments. All right, now the Garrison, David. Actually, a name I can pronounce. Okay, I actually can pronounce David the Builder. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a commander that I'm not embarrassed to say his name. That's more a me problem. Okay. So David, here we go. Cav Garrison combo. Cool. Let's see what he does. AoE commander. We are going to be racking up the damage, baby. That anytime I see AoE on a Garrison, I'm like, hey, here we freaking go. Launches 2 combo attacks against 3 enemy troops, 1400 damage factor, fan area. If you want to see what that fan looks like, I got great news. I'll just show you. It's not a big fan. It's a little fan. Size does matter, and that's the size. Animation's cool. Between the 2 Cav commanders, I definitely would say I prefer this animation. But it's nothing too crazy, nothing too flashy. Swords come down, swords go burr. Immediately cleanses 2 slow, poison, exhaustion, or other normal debuffs. Normal debuffs include reduction of the attack, defense, health, or healing received. Okay, we got a debuff cleanser, and we got AoE damage. I mean, I love AoE damage, 1000 rage requirement. I'm interested. Do we use him in the open field? Let's find out. This cavalry commander gets 35% defense. If they're serving as a garrison, take 10% less skill damage. That is interesting. We are, I mean, it makes sense. We're cooking archers. Get wrecked, archers. that is directly like, see you later, archers. And Huo users, if you still exist after these new calves show up. Okay, next skill. If this commander is serving as a garrison. Okay, so we're really locking in on being a garrison commander here, right? Was there anything in the active skill? No, doesn't look like it, but you know, like we are locked in to being garrison here, which I'm not mad about that. There's no march speed on here, so you know, if you're going to field with this guy, your second skill is just 35% defense, and your third skill is not going to do anything. Ooh, okay. Garrison deals 10% more combo damage. That's fine. This is signaling you want to pair with another commander that does combo, ideally. Whenever the garrison launches a basic, it deals combo attack damage to 3 nearby enemies. God damn! Are you serious? And it just does this every 3 seconds? Whenever the garrison launches a basic attack. So, okay, so you're telling me every 3 seconds, unless we're like disarmed by El Cid or whatever. Oh, okay. Every 3 seconds, I'm hitting 3 targets with 200 damage factor. Bro, I mean, okay, so you know, I'm a YouTuber and I watch lots of YouTube content. There's some guy, I can't remember his name, that always shows up in my feed, and he takes his glasses every time he eats something tasty and he throws them aside. Holy moly! I know it's only 200 damage factor, but y'all, guys, listen, y'all, that's really good. The amount of people that are going to get wrecked by AoE damage this is gonna go crazy. This is gonna go crazy. And there's always people in the wrong alliance standing near the flag that are just gonna get frickin' rolled, man. This kit's very good so far. I don't know how I feel about debuff cleansing. I mean, it's good if you're getting swarmed. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of debuffs to cleanse, but you know, debuff cleansing is weird unless it's a stacking effect. We clear off like poison. Stacking effects getting cleared off, that's good. And we do see there's a lot of commanders these days that debuff attack, defense, and health. I mean, I'm on board. Maybe health debuffs are a little rare at this point, but let's go to the next skill. Whenever this commander uses an active skill while attacking a troop on the map, so that's a rally or a field march, the target takes 40% more combo attack damage for the next 3 seconds. Wow, that's a debuff, all right. Cooldown of 5. Holy moly. Whenever you use an active skill. So it's whenever this commander's troop uses an active skill. So does that mean, like, if we pair with Attila, we're going to make him take 40% more combo damage and then hit him with his combo damage? I mean, it's definitely intriguing. Whenever this troop, the target, I mean, I think this is just the main thing you're targeting. I don't know if this applies to every single target you hit with AoE damage. I think it's just your main target. I don't know. Either way, this effect is certainly interesting. Active skill frequency matters. Every skill cycle, you're basically setting up to do this. Restorer of the Kingdom. I love skills I can pronounce. If this commander is serving as a garrison commander, oh my god, they are locked into this guy being garrison, let me tell you. The garrison takes 10% less damage. That's big, honestly. You could stop there, and that'd be pretty good. And if the target has less than 50% of units remaining, the garrison deals 5% more damage. First, I was going to say this is like YSS, but I think YSS is actually when your troop is low, and you used to be able to cheat that by having like your army not start full health. But, and you like have a bunch of people join that had a bunch of sev wounds. Whatever, either way, I guess this is more like, isn't it Belisarius that does something like this? The OG Belisarius, 4th skill, actually, if the target has less than 50% use it. Either way, this is going to make arc testing a little more tricky because it's going to be hard to replicate this without lots of reinforcement. There's only so much reinforcement you can do in an arc test. But okay, cool. So, you know, big picture, where am I at with this guy? I think there's two pairs here, and I will put on screen the commenter who first clued me into this, and I was like, oh, someone may have said it before me or before them, but like, I think I've been struggling to find the role that Hector fills, and it is possible against a rally, because we have no combo Garrison other than this guy, that Hector is the answer. And that to me checks out. I said originally there must be some future use for Hector we don't understand, and it turns out it wasn't even that far away. Against a rally, like, yeah, he seems to do all right with infantry. I'm inclined to believe that Toku is better based on testing I've done, but setting all that aside, I think that he is likely to be really solid here, and your likely number one choice as a secondary for the Cav Garrison. So it's funny, all the Cav guys are like, oh, cool, I don't have to max Hector. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Yeah, probably do. Probably do. Unless it turns out that Attila pairing is just better, and we know that Gorgo Attila has been good for a very long time, and you don't need an artifact to run this dude plus Attila. And Attila will have the upside of being very anti-swarm. Will there be good synergy between the kits of those two? Probably so. Especially because Attila reduces skill damage dealt and taken. And that seems like pretty good, given that this guy is really trying to cook skill damage. Like, you basically put Cav in the Garrison, and it is incorrect to rally with archers now. It's actually kind of wild how countered the archers might end up being. And especially given how anti-swarm Attila is, like, the easy answer is maybe you don't even need to mess with Hector. You just do Attila. And like, but I have a suspicion that Attila ends up being better anti-swarm, and that Hector ends up being better single target, you know, versus just a rally, defend a pass sort of a situation. So with regard to pairings, and don't mind my gear, it's moved around for running barb forts at the moment. Again, for open field, I don't think the new Cav Garrison's going to be where it's at. So I think where we're at right now, if you have one march, you wait for the testing. You see how good the new dude, how good is this new dude? I think you're going to want to graduate from Huo with Arthur for sure. It's going to be Arthur with Achilles, or it's going to be probably the new dude, GG, with Achilles, if I had to guess, for like a one march player. You probably need to switch to Delta, and the weirdness there is that I think we may get another combo-related formation. We don't know if it's Field or Garrison or what it's going to be in the next 6 months. So, like, you make that swap, just a heads up, that could be painful. Or maybe it'll be fine. Hard to say. From there, 2 marches. I run 2 marches of Cavs, and I'm kind of trying to wait for the new formation before I switch. But I think if you're doing the best you possibly can do, it's for sure 2 combo marches. Like bench Huo, it's over. It's over, buddy. I think so. And I think that you use GG plus Achilles. You use Arthur plus Philip, or I like William, and you can do pretty dang good with that. I think you got options for what you could do there. I guess we could test the new commander because he does AoE, and like AoE is that important, but so many of his skills are like that Garrison. So many skills are just not going to work in the field. I'm not inclined to believe it. So for 2 marches, that's probably where I'm at. 3 marches, you got a lot more options. Could probably tap Huo back in. Again, if you want to stay the skill damage route, by the way, like if I want to just turtle and not switch my formations around for 2 Cav marches, my off-the-cuff answer here is, well, okay, Huo with Arthur still. I don't love that at all. Not happy about that. But you could do Huo with Arthur and then GG plus Achilles. But I think that this healing, I'm either misunderstanding it, which is totally possible, or it is the linchpin, and it is exactly as I suggested Achilles needed. which is like, look, if I'm going to be doing these Pelean spears over and over and over, based on my taking damage, I need a way to live. Well, gosh, GG gives it. And I think that's going to be nutty. And I'm still a little, like, even if it's just some of the combo damage that you're dealing does healing, like, that's pretty compelling as an argument for this all working out. It's circle AoE. It doesn't trigger the global cooldown between active skills either from the expertise triggering. That's wild. Yeah, man, I just keep reading this skill and I'm like, whenever their troop deals combo damage, it recovers a large portion of slightly wounded, 10%. But we boost this by 100%, so it becomes, what, 20%? And the 15% basically becomes 30%, probably. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Doesn't the multiplier go up by 150 at that point? Oh my god. I don't know. There's gonna be, long story short, there's gonna be bursts with big heals. It's gonna get very interesting. This is gonna be a very powerful combination, I think. Anyways, until next time, you have fun, smash your enemies, leave your comments down below, everybody.